Friends, welcome to Sacred Grove. Not a resort, not a vacation. A place where the world just breathes. Where the trees don't rustle, they listen. Where Mark books their anniversary getaway, and suddenly everything feels more alive than it should. This isn't about ghosts, or cults, or blood. It's about love. Real love. The kind he feels every morning, when he wakes up next to her, when he looks at her, like she's still the girl he met all those years ago. The kind that says stay and means it, because losing her would break him. She's happy, he's devoted. And somewhere between the olive trees and the silence, you may start to wonder, is this place paradise, or is it the last place they will ever leave? Now listen close, because what you're about to hear isn't the whole story. It's just a breath. Enjoy.
Mark and Jacqueline walked together toward the garden, wrapped in a silence that felt almost blessed. No words passed between them, only the soft hush of the grove. Embracing them, its air alive with the scent of exotic flowers, and something deeper, warmer, like the earth itself was breathing them in. The light filtered through leaves that made the sound of a light rain as they swayed. They felt the path seem to know their steps before they took them. Beyond the first garden, more waited them. As this gentle world unfolded, soft and bright around the pair. They passed restaurants covered in vines, where waiters smiled wide with wine that Jacqueline imagined tasted like a summer afternoon. Trails that curved into mist-shrouded thickets, streams that trilled like bubbling chimes, wood and stone bridges that arched over them, reflecting their silvery glow. Everywhere, sights that begged to be seen, flora that bloomed without sun, paths that curved like invitations, every corner bright or shrouded, nearly perfect. Passing the spa man stared at Jacqueline through glass at the entrance doors, its doors of crystal glass. Courting the sun, like a prism. Glancing through, Jacqueline could see the spa man standing inside, still as carved stone, his smile fixed, eyes tracing Jacqueline. Through the pain, not rude, just there, watching, like he'd been waiting for her, warm and light, but lingering, a beat too long. She didn't flinch, just noticed it. She felt the warmth of it, his gaze settling on her skin, like afternoon sunlight. Passing the spa, Jacqueline saw another place, soft, warm light spilling from its mullioned panes, with a single garden table placed outside the quaint structure's entrance. Peering inside at a distance, Jacqueline could see bookshelves waiting to be perused. Approaching the entrance together, Mark and Jacqueline, as if stepping into a dream, woven from life itself. The garden gate rose before them, like something born of ancient enchantment, an exquisite archway of wrought iron, gracefully bent, its curves flowing into delicate compass shapes on either side, as if the winding metal had sighed and taken the form of two lovers entwined, and the directions of the earth's sphere all woven together in soft, endless grace. The whole garden lay cradled within living walls of 10-foot-tall bushes, lush, their branches heavy, with clusters of tiny crimson flowers that glowed like scattered rubies, and clusters of vivid blue berries that sparkled with dew. The air around them shimmered with quiet enchantment, warm, sweet, and alive, wrapping them in a hush. So complete, it felt like the world outside had gently fallen asleep, so this one could wake, Mark and Jacqueline both looked up in awe at the beauty and uniqueness of the dark metallic arch, the temple-like nature of the entrance. It began so gently, the gritty wrought-iron arch curving like a welcoming arm, compass shapes, curving soft as moonlight, crimson flowers blooming without hurry. The hush around them was kind, almost familiar, like the garden knew their names and remained quiet. As a cloud passed overhead, the light dimmed, just a fraction. The iron seemed to lean forward, the compass line stretching thin, the berries' dew catching shadows. The sweet air turned heavier, as if the gate was a spectre that stood too close. The silence didn't change, but felt careful. Mark and Jacqueline instinctively listened. And then, nothing. The arch straightened as the sun pierced through the clouds. The flowers brightened. The hush warmed again, like an ocean breeze. They stood there, still smiling, rebounding from the beauty that felt almost borrowed. Mark inhaled deeply through his nose. "Ha!" while Jacqueline gasped in awe, her eyes wide as saucers, and then he exhaled long and slow, like the whole garden was filling him up with passion for his long-loved Jacqueline. They stepped through the iron arch, fingers entwined, giggling a little together. Stepping through, the veranda opened like a picture book of fireworks, the colours and shapes of the exotic flora sparkling in their minds. Only 2 other couples were there. One strolled hand in hand along a far-off path, swaying like leaves on a breeze. They were too far to hear, but Mark felt they must be sharing words only lovers can express. The other couple sat at a little stone table, bent over a chessboard, brows furrowed intently, moving pawns, like they were saving kingdoms. The air of this place caressed their lungs like soft honey, linens, and somewhere a bird sang a tune that sounded to them both, suspiciously like, "Welcome home." The enormity of the garden was hidden by the tall, dark, leafy hedgerow. There were spiraling, winding paths, accented on either side with beautiful flowers and exotic-looking plants that seemed otherworldly, almost glowing in the sun's soft touch, like they'd been painted by moonlight and hadn't yet dried. Jacqueline placed her hand on Mark's chest, gently, and breathed out, "It's so beautiful." She paused. Her words hung in the air and whisked by, then added, softer, "I mean, look at it. The way everything just glows." Mark stared back, deep and knowingly, into her eyes. As if reading each other's thoughts, the couple peered together, deeper in, as they walked, hand in hand. There was a large carved stone fountain at the center, with 4 benches surrounding it. The fountain was the shape of a compass, with the benches surrounding it standing as north, south, east, and west, as if some patient human hands had spent years, chisel by chisel, carving them out, till stone gave up its grace and yielded to beauty. Meticulously carved on each bench was one of the 4 letters NSEW, each carved line flowing with intricate vines and constellations, every edge sharp and every curve soft. "Oh, I wish we had something like that." "At home," Jacqueline said excitedly, her voice light, like she'd just discovered a hidden gift. Mark smiled, pleasantly surprised at her temperament, his eyes holding something deeper, something unspoken, with a flicker of warmth that said more than words ever could. "But it's so big. Where would we put it?" he said, half sarcastically, half teasing. "Of course, not that big." Jacqueline laughed softly, leaning into him, gentle and close, her shoulder bumping his arm. "Of course, I'm sure I can think of something," Mark replied, his tone low but playful. Jacqueline gasped, clasping his hand tighter. Her other palm suddenly squeezed his forearm, ignoring his words entirely, lost in the lush, sensory haze of the garden, the air thick with flowers, and everything felt suddenly theirs. In the distance, Mark caught sight of a large pavilion waiting, flanked by 3 well-trimmed oak trees that shaded the privet ancient-looking structure, their leaves scattering the light like snowflakes. A romantic urge rose in Mark, suddenly, like an ocean swell, fed by Jacqueline's bright, contagious elation. Quixotically, he smiled. He decided to whisk her there, to that empty pavilion, for a kiss, guiding her by the hand with a firm, loving grip. Somewhere in the garden, a statue of Goddess Sally's watched smiling softly, as if she'd already approved. The oaks leaned in, the pavilion breathed, and the kiss, to each of them, felt like fate.